Alright everyone, Willie. Here's a little video on the Waveline 12,000 pump controller and everything. So it's a DC 12,000 at full power. It's 132 watts with full RPM. It'll be pumping 3170 gallons per hour. The head height max is 19.9 feet, which is basically 20 feet of head it can push. Has 6 speeds. The inlet's 1.5 inches and the outlet's 1.25 inches. The dimensions of the pump, let me show you real quick, is 7 inches by 4.25 and about 5.5 inches. So it's pretty small. I mean, that thing would fit in anyone's sump. So alright, let's turn it on and see how much flow this thing can put out. Alright, so here's let me go over this real quick. Sorry, here's the controller. It's up and down to adjust speeds. The feed on this Gen 2 is a 30-minute feed. And so when it's on feed, you have that light right there where it says 30 minutes. Okay, let's go down here. This is the converter. So you have just the 2 wires. The cord going to the pump is this one, which is 8 feet, I believe, and the other cord is another 8 feet, or it might be 8 feet and 6 feet, but you have pretty good distance to find an outlet for. So here's the switch. Under here, that's the converter. And I'm going to turn this down a little bit to the 2nd speed. Right there's your soft start, which is pretty cool. It helps out. Here's that's the soft start right there. Got a little bit starting to come up. Right there, it'll ramp up, which is really cool. You hear it taking off now. I think this thing wants to run. Let's crank it up a little bit. So let me go up here, sorry. The camera's getting a little wavy. Alright, I just want to make sure this thing doesn't pump too much water in there too quick. I don't think that could happen, but once it's up and running, everything is dialed in. So okay, now this thing's ready to go. Alright, let's go back over again, sorry. We'll crank this up for a minute. Let's just watch. Okay, over there in the corner, in the all 3 sides almost, the water line is right there, so now you see the bubble will stop. Make sure this thing's not going to overflow. New system, still a little bit on the edge with this thing. Okay, yeah, everything's looking good. Cool. So let me crank it on up. It's on the 4th speed right here. That's full right there. Whoa. I gotta add a little water to the stump, but stop that. So here we go. What I could do with that is put a 90 on that pump instead of it swirling and starting a little vortex right there at the top and sucking in air. It's getting kind of noisy. So you see the water's getting a little bit high for the stems, so it's going to come over a little bit. I'll open a valve a little bit, have it come down. It's dropping a little bit too much. Maybe about right there. That looks good. So a couple things I gotta do on adjusting this thing. That looks good right there. You see the top of the standpipes? I am going to put some 45s on those. I might shorten them a little bit or just see where they're at with some 45s. I just want to have a little bit of distance in case this thing ever gets too high. It'll definitely go down the pipes before it completely overflows. I just don't want to have it come up too much. So I'm going to put some 45s on there. What that'll do is, you see how the flows, it's making it loud because it's coming down that pipe. It's actually, the overflow is shooting down the pipe. And that's what's making that noise right now. So, that's full on. So, man, that thing's loud. So this is what that thing's doing. It's sucking in air. So on the inlet, what I'm going to do with this thing is I'll put a 90 on it, or just maybe a 45, and enlarge it so it pulls from down lower in the water. It's just sucking a little bit, you know, it's getting a little vortex going and sucking some air. You can see it right there starting it up again. So that's what that's doing. That's why it's making that noise. So everything's good, my brother. Look at this. It's right at the line. That's one thing though. It's pretty high with that much flow. I might back off the flow a little bit, and that'll drop the water level in here. Because once I get my wave makers, the MP40s in here, I want to have a little bit of room to splash around. So if I drop the flow down, it'll lower the water level in here. That water level will still be the same because that's adjusted through these. But the height of the tank will reduce once I slow down the water. And then, let me show you the sauce. So here's how much flow is going down. Now, it's quite a bit of water. Around all the sides, since that's a removable tray, what that's doing is a little bit of water is coming down the sides right here. See those little squigglies? And so that's adding a little bit of bubbles right there. It's not because of the socks or the drains. See, the drain, once it goes through the socks, it'll pop all those bubbles once it gets through the socks and everything. So, but if I put in something around the sides to stop the water from going around the socks, especially on that back side over here, you can see the gap. So I'll figure out maybe maybe a rubber piece around it or something. I'll get that dialed in. And that's good, man. She's running. She's got a lot of water. Anyway, so I'm gonna slow down the drains a little bit, or the pump. That thing's nailed. So let me see what this does as far as the water level inside the tank. So I'll slow that down. Yeah, it's too high at that speed. The pump is too strong for this tank. If I could flow more water through if he went all the way across. See how it stopped short? If he went all the way across with those with the teeth, it would flow more water. But a tank is only going to flow as much water as those teeth will provide. The width and the length of those teeth dictate how much water will dictate how much water is flowing through there. So now the water level has dropped a little bit, and also once I get my little fittings on the end of these bulkheads, that will stop the bubbles, and I could reduce the flow a little bit because I have it's way over 10 times. This thing puts out 3,100 minus the head, you know. So it's doing enough for, it's a 180 gallon tank, so it's doing enough for a 200 plus gallon tank at 10 times turnover rate. Let me slow down a little bit. That's irritating, that noise, until I get that changed. Now, the water level inside the sump is 9 inches, what I need for the protein skimmer. So if you look at the strainer that I mounted on that, I think that's what's doing it. I think that's what's causing the spin. So if I just put like a 90 on that, it'll stop. All right, I don't want to keep going on. But I wanted to show Willie the pump running. He had some questions about it. All right, have a good one.